In all types of competitive gaming, there are often players who transcend the game they play. You see it in sports. Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Tiger Woods. You probably don't care about the 100-meter dash, but when Usain Bolt was running, you turned your goddamn TV on. Video games are no different. Faker, Mango, Shroud. I have never cared and will never care about Fortnite, but you bet your ass I watched Ninja wipe lobbies in his prime.
Oh my God!
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe right now we are witnessing a new face enter these ranks. Someone who will undoubtedly go down as the GOAT of their game, but may be making an argument for the best gamer ever. But before we get to that, allow me to set the stage. Super Mario 64 exists in a league of its own. It is one of, if not the most influential game to ever be released. Not only defining the 3D platformer, but setting the foundation for any game where you control a character from behind with a floating camera. If you've never played it, I recommend installing Dolphin and trying it out. I think you'll be surprised by how intuitive and crisp the controls are for a game that came out 11 years before the iPhone. Now, although it is a nearly perfect game, in all truth, time has passed. It deserves respect, but it can't hold a candle to today's games. It should be in a vault somewhere collecting dust. The reason it isn't is speedrunning. To beat Super Mario 64, you need to collect 70 stars and then defeat Bowser. Well, you really only need to defeat Bowser, but we'll get to that later. If you memorize patterns and optimize movements, you can beat the game in under an hour. So communities started developing, strategizing and planning, optimizing every movement, chipping away at that time. But it's not enough to just know what to do. You have to perform countless, highly technical movements, one after the other, all the way to the end of the game. As you can imagine, these communities became very competitive as players started clawing towards world record times. Beating the current record holder by 1 second could grant you years on the throne. Now, speedrunning communities will often break their game into categories, because you can beat Super Mario 64 with 70 stars, but you could also complete the game with 120 stars. Even though both could be summarized as beating Super Mario 64, the minutia and details to perfect either one are so vast that if you really want to be competitive, you probably should just focus on one. Holding the record in both 70 star and 120 star at the same time is like having a championship in 2 different weight divisions in the UFC. It's rare, and if you can do it, you cement yourself as an all-time great. Now here's the thing. 70 and 120 star are not the only categories. If you want all the details, I highly recommend watching The History of 16 Star by Summoning Assault, but basically, players figured out ways to abuse glitches to get to places of the game they shouldn't be allowed to. And as long as you can find a way to get to Bowser and beat him, you technically win the game. This manifested into a 16 star category, which is kind of the face of the scene today, a 1 star category, and a 0 star category. Now, these categories are significantly shorter than 70 or 120 star, but that does not make them easier. For one, you need to intentionally glitch through walls to even complete these runs. But more importantly, a shorter run really just means that players have even more opportunity to dissect strategies. Players are now incentivized to look for optimizations that improve their times by tenths of a second. Enter Green Squeegee. 2 years ago, Green Squeegee entered the playground with the big boys with a sub 16-minute 16 star, placing him at about 20th in the world at the time. However, for the past year, he's been going on a tear. I only knew about Green Squeegee because I'll occasionally watch Simply react to world records as they occur, and I noticed the same name coming up quite often. Green Squeegee took the 16-star world record about a year ago, but since then has just been improving on it at a pretty incredible rate. Until recently, SM64 world records have been characterized as how few mistakes can you make in a run. There have, of course, been novel optimizations over time, but whoever the current record holder is just the person who can get the closest to the perfect run everyone has in their heads. And then we wait for some new discovery, or maybe for someone to do the same route, but with one less mistake. But as Green Squeegee started to knock off mistake after mistake on his own performances, it started to feel like he was creeping up on the perfect run. But he'd held the 16-star record for a while now. And he'd been beating his own record for a while now. If you're a top-level runner, improving your best time by 1 or 2 seconds is huge, and Green Squeegee had a 10-second buffer between him and second place. So he started running 1 star, and he was improving. Fast. Before anyone even had the chance to begin challenging him in 16 star, Green Squeegee was a legitimate competitor to take the 1 star record and hold 2 records at once. Then, just over 2 weeks ago, he beat the record, but let me show you something. Here is what the 1-star leaderboard looked like before Green Squeegee. A year-old record at 707, followed by a year-old 708, and a series of 711s. These are all near-perfect runs. They had mistakes, but this is as good as humanity could do for the past year. Of course, we all knew this record would be broken eventually. Maybe someone knocks it down to a 705, and then maybe that record holds for another year. And then maybe somebody goes crazy, knocks it down to a 703 or 702, and who knows how long that would last for. And then, maybe, one day, years down the line, someone could perform a 1-star speedrun in under 7 minutes. Green Squeegee knocked 5 seconds off the run with a 703. A run that is likely years ahead of its time. A near-perfect run that will stand the test of time and brings us that much closer to a sub-7-minute run. Oh, and a few days later, Green Squeegee completes 1 star in 6 minutes and 58 seconds.
Yes! Oh my God! I just fucking broke a minute barrier, dude! Oh my God! Yes, dude!
Suddenly, Green Squeegee holds 2 records at once, one of which is a near perfect 1-star run, and both of which have a 10-second buffer. I really want to communicate how impressive this is. Mainly because a few days later, he beats his 16-star record again.
16 star is dead. 16 star is fucking dead! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh!
Not only does he beat it, he destroys it with a 14:35, a run that is probably more flawless than the 1-star record. He is now 25 seconds better than the next fastest runner. And remember, this has all been happening in the past few weeks. Right now, he's 4th in the world at 0-star. It's pretty much known that he's going to take that record too. In fact, he's already practicing 120-star. It's not out of the realm of imagination to say that within the next year or so, Green Squeegee might hold the record for all 5 categories at once. And who knows for how long? If he sets records in these other categories that are as inhuman as his 16-star and 1-star records, he could end up being the only SM64 world record holder for years. It is, in a word, exciting. And it's happening right now, so I suggest you keep an eye on the kid so you can say you were paying attention when the greatest gamer of all time was crowned.
The Connor Show.